3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Brute Strength Podcast, where we explore strategies for training, competing, and well-being shared through experiences from some of the sharpest minds in the fitness space. Now, welcome your host, Micah Shoemaker.
November the 4th, 5th, and 6th, a Brute camp coming to a city near you. Or maybe not. Maybe you have to fly. I mean, I can't promise it's a city near you, But we are excited about November 4th, 5th, and 6th. It officially kicks off on the 5th, but if you can make it for the get-together on the 4th, we'd love to obviously have you. It's a Brute camp. We've hosted these in the past, but this one's a little bit different because we're coming to, for the first time ever, Brute HQ in Naples, Florida. You couldn't pick a better scenery, first of all. Who doesn't like the beach? And not to mention the home of some of the fittest athletes in the world. Dallin Pepper, Emma Carey, now Danielle Brandon's moving there. Man, what are you excited about for this camp, man?
Just to get it kicked off again. It back in the day, I feel like this is what Brute was known for, was these camps that we ran. They were, all-inclusive camps, I guess is the best way of saying it. You get people from all over the country, in some cases all over the world. I mean, we've got some person signed up now from Guatemala, from what I'm hearing, and I'm curious now where these other people are coming from.
Oh, wow.
And it's also amazing to hear the presence as well. But, this is back in 2017, the Brute camp is where I met Dallin for the first time. Back in 2017 was the first time I met all the Brute coaches of the past. And it really sets the tone for the season, I think, depending on where you're at as an athlete, what your goals are. Are you looking to get into quarterfinals? Are you just wanting to learn more information of what it's like to be a competitive athlete? Are you want to, do you want to pick up on more of your skills with gymnastics, or do you need to freshen things up with your weightlifting, or do you need to recharge your mindset? Do you need like a burst of energy going into 2023 to kind of set you off on your own, kind of journey per se, more so than it did last year? So, I guess long-winded answer. I'm excited about it all. Get you down here, get the team together down here. The coaching staff that we have down here. It's an incredible synergy between the guys that we have here, and you see it in the performance of our best athletes. The ones that you've already mentioned, and the ones that are here now that moved down to Naples recently, and the ones that are about to be here soon. There's a reason why these guys are really good, and they get all the praise for it, as they should, because they're incredible athletes. But the team that we have down here is behind the scenes as well, as they're just as incredible as these athletes are.
Yeah, so maybe you could talk to us a little bit about who the team is that's going to be putting this thing on. Obviously people know of you, or I would say most people do listen to this podcast at this point. Obviously we just had a great interview with Coach Dom, got a lot of great feedback on that, and it was this I called it his coming out of his shell party. It was awesome. I love to get to know him a little bit more, because he's just like a wealth of knowledge. And I would tell him, I learned something like legitimately on this podcast, which is really cool. If you haven't listened to that, it's the podcast right before this one. I think it's number 73. You can go listen to that. Anyways, get to know Coach Dom. But who else is going to be there, and maybe kind of give us an idea of what specialties they're bringing to the table.
For sure. So. If you haven't listened to that podcast yet, Coach Dom, Coach Dom is one of our head coaches here. He's been coaching a lot of great athletes even back to the regional days. He's I would say our in-house weightlifting coach as well. So he's going to be in charge during camp. We're going to have a breakout during camp where we're doing clean and jerk for day one, or snatch or clean and jerk for day one, and then the opposite one for day two, and he's going to be in charge of that. So you're going to be spending a lot of time with him. He's been a great help for me with a lot of my athletes as well down here. Back when these boys and Emma back in their teenage years, all the way up until recently with the assistants with Danielle over at the games. So that's Coach Dom. Coach D is going to be with us as well. So Coach D is going to be in charge of the gymnastics. So Coach DC. Coach DC is in charge of our gymnastics. He's going to be, you'll know him the moment that he starts to speak because he's the only Australian on staff. But you cannot forget that accent. I think DC and Dom, they're very similar people. Like they're like in life, they aim to please, and you'll feel that the moment that you meet DC. DC is also another phenomenal coach. Recently this year, he's coached the Masters 60 to 65 champion Mary Beth, and I'm going to butcher her last name, but Prosamitis.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Sorry. But anyway, the point being is he has a lot of experience with Masters athletes. He's easy to be there, and then obviously you, man. You're. I think the thing that I'm most excited about you, dude, is like, number one, you get to experience the Brew Camp the way I did the very first time. And so you're there kind of like doing like two things. You're experiencing it, but also you're the helping hand coaching it. And, obviously you are, if people don't know, you coach remotely. Like, yes. I think people need to know that, it's something that you enjoy doing just as much as you enjoy, being the media guy. Yeah. And so it's gonna be a great camp. With the coaches that we have, I know things are gonna go, awesome. I'm just super excited, just for you guys to come on down here, everyone to be together, the team to be together.
Yeah, I mean, look, the first time I experienced the Brute Camp was in Ohio, back at Fee's gym, CrossFit Mentality, which obviously Fee is now. This is public. Fee is moving down to Naples, and that's. I mean, I think for the people that are listening, like, these people are literally uprooting their lives and moving down to Naples to do life down there. So if that doesn't speak volumes about what Matt Torres and camp is doing, I don't really know what does, because there's nothing like uprooting your life and moving, in her case, from Ohio to Naples could not be more polarizing. Anyways, so maybe that should be some social proof in itself if it's not obvious enough. But, one of the things that I noticed and experienced firsthand when I went to that camp in Ohio was the wide-ranging wealth of information. Whether I was just beginning CrossFit, like maybe I would consider myself like a scaled athlete, or whether I was, there were plenty of games athletes there, right? And I'm not a games athlete, but whether I was a games, like, there was something to be gained, and it was. And kudos to you guys, because it was like you just kind of met every person where they were, because it was still small enough, because you limited, and it was very I think special in that way that you limited to smaller sizes, and you just met people where they were and were able to give advice to and speak to where they were and where they were trying to go. And I think that was really cool, and that's something that some of the breakout sessions that I was like, man, this is awesome. Like, you took the time to like break down everyone's clean and jerk and snatch, and whether I had that hitch or not, it's like, oh, I could learn something from that person and apply it to my own training. It's like, oh, that's how you do that, or oh, that's how I would get around that, or oh, that's how I could train through that. And you guys were giving like examples of like, well, this is how we would progress this out over like a season. And I'm assuming there's going to be more of the same, right? Is explaining like how to increase my aerobic capacity, how to become a better weightlifter, or maybe if weightlifting is my let's say overall weakness, let's say I got a good engine, like how to actually do that. That's where I feel like I got a ton of value, just as a person that was going and just like soaking it in like a little kindergarten kid. I was like, this is exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What's funny is like the way that you described that right there is, I think it speaks to our backgrounds as CrossFit coaches, the ability to coach people of all different levels simultaneously at the same time. How do you coach someone in a group breakout that is, brand new to the kipping pull up versus someone that is strung together like 10 ring muscle ups? How is that even possible? And that ability comes from our staff here having the knowledge and the know-how to do it all simultaneously at one time, because you have to be able to, Keep one person entertained that's been doing this for a long time, just as much as you need to entertain the person that, can't potentially do a ring muscle up, because we will go over the steps of the ring muscle up, and we will go over different types of swings and different types of styles of the ring muscle up.
Ooh,
So
that's good.
wait a second, there's this type of ring muscle up, there's that type of ring muscle up, and there's this type of ring muscle up. It's like, which one is to be best for you, and what scenario is going to be best to use it? Is it going to be a workout in semifinals where you hit 21 ring muscle ups and then move on to the next thing, but you don't have to go back? Because that's a different type of ring muscle up. Or is it something where you're coming back to the ring, like rounds, or I don't know if there's going to be AMRAP like that, but rounds in a workout where you have to continue to come back to those ring muscle ups. So, you see these styles, even if you just go back and watch game film, you see these styles of ring muscle ups from our athletes now and then athletes of past as well. How they apply it. So, I think that brings up a lot of really, really good points. Is, the people that are on the brink or on the edge of like the decision, it's like, should I do it? Should I not do it? This isn't a camp that you've done in the past. Just like what we do here in Brute, when we program people, we don't do it the same way other people do, right? And I think you have to be able to see it firsthand in order for you to get that full understanding. Because if you're on the brink thinking like, ooh, like what is that post that I need to see that is going to make me change my mind? Or like, what is like, how many times do I need to see, an athlete post something before I go, okay, all right, I'm gonna pull a trigger? Because in all reality, if it's taking you that long, maybe you're just not ready for it. Maybe you just need to just hang back, stay at the house, watch what happens from afar, and then maybe a few months later you can attend another one. But if you believe in what our athletes are capable of doing, then you are the type of person that should be here to watch it happen firsthand for you, not for our athletes, not to hear us as coaches blabber over social media. Come in and watch it happen for you and how it can change things leading into the 2023 season.
Man, God, you could just replay that. That was good. And not to go down too far this rabbit hole, but Coach L said this to me a while back. I'll never forget it. He said, he goes, in the sport of CrossFit, we need to learn how to be a carpenter and not a specialty birdhouse builder. We need to learn the skills and have different ways of doing those skills, and not just one way, because sometimes that one way isn't going to be the way in that workout. When you get, it's like it's the Rocky quote: everyone has a plan until they get hit in the mouth, right? And I love the fact that you guys are actually going to go over that stuff. It's like, here's multiple ways of doing this, and here's how we can be successful. And some people listening to this didn't even know there were 3 different ways to do a ring muscle up, and there was the front rise swing, and there was the traditional kip swing, and there's like, man, if you're in that camp and you're going, what did he just say about that? Man, you need to click the link in the description in the notes right now. You need to stop listening to me, because that's huge. And I'm telling you, you'd be shocked how many people at semifinals that I've taken on as athletes that I'm like, okay, cool, like we did it that way, and then I'm like, okay, well, what does your da-da-da look like? And they're like, well, I don't know how to do that. And it's like, really? Well, let's talk about that, and let's talk about what application that might make sense for you. I mean, that right there is worth coming alone. That's worth thousands of dollars and lots of heartache and headache. I mean, that's so good.
Yeah, for sure, man. What's funny is what you said is like, my professional athletes struggle with this, and I think every athlete can struggle a little bit with this as well. Is when you learn a new technique that you see other people doing, but you don't grasp it as quickly as you want to do it, you can't abandon that technique because you simply are not, whatever it is, neuromuscularly, the new muscles that are being used are not strong enough, or they're not enduring enough, I think is another way of putting it as well. I think of like right now, you're seeing a lot of this rowing AI technique app from, I forget what the name of the company is.
WOD
Right, WOD. So it's like enough people in the world are doing it right now, and there's marketing for it all over the place. So you're trusting the fact that this is the way it's supposed to be, rowing. But your muscles may not be as enduring enough to hold that technique where it's like, oh, this is amazing. Yeah, it's amazing for like 300 meters. But if we're talking about in a workout where, now your trunk is exhausted, now your quads are done, can you still hold that technique? Can you still trust it? Right. And you apply that to a lot of things like rope climbs, ring muscle ups, burpees even. It's wild, but burpees. And it's like, are athletes willing to give up what they've done for so many years in order to be better, knowing that it's going to take a little few steps at a time? They're not going to just apply it and be like, okay, this works. Like I'm finishing workouts 90 seconds faster now, because it really doesn't work out that way for a lot of people.
Man, that's solid. So, okay. So Friday night, if people want to come, there's going to be just so I understand, I'm getting some of these details for the first time. It's kind of like a hangout, meet and greet, like do dinner, have a good time type of deal. Is that the case?
Exactly. So what it's going to be, it's going to be a welcome party basically at the gym. It's a meet and greet. It's not mandatory to be there, but if you're able to make it, we'd love for you guys to come over.
Okay.
Meet the coaches. If we can get the athletes in there, I'm going to try my best to get them up in there.
I was about to say, that's what everyone wants to know. Like, are the athletes going to be there? I mean, that's the sexy stuff.
So what's funny is like a lot of my athletes, I'm like, guys, look, I'm not going to require you to work, right? I don't want them feeling like they're working to do that. But a lot of them are like itching just to watch. A lot of these athletes are like, I've never been on this side of camp before. I've always been like the Q&A. I've always been, kind of just like roaming around doing my thing. Like the athletes are going to be there. But a lot of them are excited just to be sitting in it in some cases. And I'm telling my athletes, like, when I'm doing these lectures, sit in it. When Coach Tom is doing these lectures, sit in these things. Because what we preach on a daily basis is what we're giving out. But it's in a much more like well-constructed manner as well. Right, as opposed to like response
thought
like,
bubble,
yeah. But yeah, that intro day we'll have everyone come down. It won't be anything crazy, just to say hello, answer any questions that need to be answered about the camp. Welcome everybody. Just get that good energy going, and then pop it off the next morning.
Yeah, look, my favorite part of camp was always the partner workouts to end the day. Granted, you don't have to be competitive. You can just go at your own pace. But I always remember I got the opportunity, speaking of elite athletes, got the opportunity to partner with Dallin both days. And there was the guys there from the Ohio Brutes, and they were partners. And it was just like this really cool opportunity to be able to compete. And even if it was just for fun, even if it was for shits and giggles, but it was still just a good time. And I think if even if you're coming to this camp and you're like, well, I'm not competitive, you can go at your own pace. But if you really want to push it, there's going to be some people there that are willing to push you. You know what I'm saying? So I think from someone that's gone to this, you can get out of it as much as you want to, or as little as you want to. It's really just it's all in your application of how you apply yourself. And that sounds so corny, but it really is true. If you want to be competitive and you want to like get with these competitive athletes, they'll let you. Like you're going to have that access. If you just want to hey, I want to have a good time, I want to sweat and learn some things, you can do that too. And take some pictures. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like it's cool to be a tourist sometimes. But if you're really looking to level up your game for the 2023 season, it's crazy to say that those numbers together, but we're in fact already here in the off season. I think this is the place to be. I'm pumped about it. I can't wait. And can't wait to see you guys. Really, I can't wait to go to the Crumble there. Hopefully they have good menu items that week, because this week was trash. I spit the everything bagel cookie out of my mouth because I said, this is a waste of calories. I might as well eat an everything bagel.
Yeah, I couldn't do it, man. I could not do that everything bagel. It was I don't know what it is. I think cookie and everything bagel, you can't possibly blend the two and think of like sweets, and I don't know. It's just it wasn't. I wasn't impressed by it, but you know what? Next week's a new week, and we can forget about this one.
That's right. All right, dude. Anything you want to add before we jump off here? I really sincerely appreciate you getting on here and your time. and explain all this to everyone.
No, we're gonna hear some firsthand accounts of our athletes that have been to the camps in the past.
Yeah.
It's going to be popping up on the social media, so it'll be pretty cool just to see it from their eyes. But yeah, that's really all I got to say from here.
Sweet. If you're listening to this, there is a code. Hopefully you're listening to it in time as an early bird special, kind of like Waffle House. Down in the bio, you can click the link, and there's a code for you guys if you want to take advantage of that. I believe it ends the end of this month. I'm recording this in September, so it'll be the end of September. Take advantage of it. There's only 35 spots. Over half of those are filled at the recording of this. And how these things usually go, as soon as this pushes out, typically we get like a rush of signups. So as soon as you listen to it, go ahead and click the link in the description below. Take advantage of the offer because price is obviously going to go up at the end of this month. So that's all I got. Matt, I appreciate you, dude. And we'll see you real soon, man. Excited.
Thanks for listening to Brute Strength Podcast. As always, you can head over to brutestrengthtraining.com to connect with us and access the links and resources mentioned in this podcast. That's brutestrengthtraining.com for exclusive content and giveaways just for you, our podcast listeners. Consider subscribing so you never miss out. That's all for this episode. See you next time.